So yeah, I just apologize in advance for any potential problems with the microphone. Hopefully it's not going to be that bad, but I do expect it, to be honest about it with you. And the first map then is going to be Anatolia for GDMs, are the home team this time around. Going to be having team of Pedrut, Pain and Platino with Isis, etc. And against them are going to be TM, Team Mystic with Rizero, that's Samuscreen, Burzum and Trulog, that's Oranos, Loki and Zeus. Okay, so we are probably going to be expecting that the triple Aggies are really going to be having a bit of an advantage in here on this map, but we shouldn't underestimate the opposing team at all, because you have already seen that even triple Aggies is not a sure way to victory, because last season, if I remember correctly, it might have been TBS or Keens. Yeah, but they were basically the same team last season. Yeah, I think it was actually Keen versus Deities of Death, and Deities of Death punished them like real hard, their triple Aggie choice, and with I think it was even more rubbing the salt into the wound, because they were having triple Norse or some such. It was like triple Norse against triple Aggie. Some nonsense that you wouldn't exactly think that the triple Aggies could be losing, but yeah, Deities of Death overcame them quite significantly, and it wasn't really all that much of a hard battle for them. So yeah, let's see how Team Mystic actually approaches this game. Okay, so the set is already trying to steal some animals into his side, hoping that they are going to be helping him with the fighting, as we are of course looking at Pain, who is, exactly the one, going for the animals, going to be joining on the right with his teammate Platinum, so that's going to be double on the right, and it seems like that it is going to be absolutely the same from the opponents, as Samuscream, aka Rizero, is already coming for the rock as well, and will be helping his teammate Burzum. This will leave only Zeus, Trulok, on the top side, fighting against Isis. Yes, against Isis, that's actually a pretty good matchup, more equal than anything else. Yeah, it's pretty decent, even though of course on Anatolia, Egyptian will be having some kind of advantage, especially with fishy spawns like this, going already for the second dock somewhere a bit closer to his opponent, but still there is probably going to be, well, probably, let's not be too hasty. It will be making sense to go for restoration if he wants to fight for the water, but to fight for the water on Anatolia against Senegi is usually not an idea that you should be engaging in as your main strategy. You should be having your doors open, and especially in team games, ceasefire is such a powerful strategy. For example, like for stealing town centers at the back, as we have seen last week in the game that I actually streamed as well. There was a lot of stealing going on from Deities of Death. We should be seeing something like that also in here, because of course it makes sense, because we are having the Zeus, so if he goes for some faster mythical, which usually is played from the pocket position, which is not the case in here, but still it is a possibility. And then underworld passage to the back of the opponent's bases, unload your Colossi with the Myrmidons and maybe even Hoplites, and then here we go, steal the TCs as much as you can. So yeah, let's see about that. Some first relic has been gathered already by the teal player, who is having, oh, better infantry hack armor. Well, that's nice. That is nice indeed. And are we seeing some other relics? For example, just one, I think. I look at the minimap correctly. That's better with unit crash armor. Yeah, well, that sucks. That sucks indeed. Crash armor, that's only crash damage is basically just from siege weapons, so it's potentially useful for something high hit point like maybe Colossi, potentially, but not really anything all that much. And I'm not exactly sure if it actually works for Titan. I think I've talked about this in some streamings in the past of mine, and I still haven't located the truth for that. I probably will have to do some kind of editor testing on that, because I'm not sure. But if it did, then it will make quite a lot of difference in the Titan fights, because of course usually you use catapults, helepoly and such to take down those beastly monsters. Archer Ballista, Kino Ballista, LOS and range. Definitely pretty good for 0. But could be also useful for example, the Zeus, because you could be going for some Toxots somewhere along the lines, as he's right now engaging in a bit of raiding on the villager, trying to at least disrupt Pedrut a bit, so that he doesn't have as much protected dock as he is right now aiming for. We are at 345, so Aegis should be coming in. A lot of on gold, so that will basically result into a lot of 3 Remes as well. And yep, it's going to be Hermes, not any kind of shenanigans with the restoration, so that's that. 35 into Prometheus, what we are looking at with purple. Burzum still not advancing, so he's definitely biding his time, but he should be clicking just after this one. Because of course, yeah, he's at 4 minutes. So 5:15, that's not a bad advance on a water map at all. Going for the fourth city as a Loki, of course. So how's it looking on the other side? Just now clicking into Ptah for Platinum Azra. So shifting sense number 1. Pain with set probably shifting sense number 2. Would make a whole lot of sense for him, but he's not advancing yet. And since he's in the pocket, he definitely can afford it. But of course, oh well, Pedrut also going quite late-ish, but he is Isis, so that's going to be faster heroic from him. And of course, that then makes a lot of sense with the bust. Valor just now invoked at the bottom somewhere. Okay, on the oracles. So they definitely will want to take advantage of the lower, or rather, what is it? The other word. Slower advances into the feudal age, aka classical age, that is coming in from GDMs. And of course, it would be much more valuable for him if he just stopped with at least one of those to try and see if there are some other villages built in the docks, which is basically a given. It's happening like all the time, especially with Egyptians. Once they are advancing a bit later, they usually send the villagers into the docks once they click into advance. And yeah, this definitely could have been played better. And this villager could have been discovered and slowed down Platinum quite significantly, to be honest. As even though he's spamming dogs, well, more like Green is actually spamming dogs. He's having 2 apparently, and Green is spamming a lot of dogs. 1, 2, 3, 4. Wow, he's definitely not thinking about playing this defensively. He is going to be with his teammate quite alright, and losing this dog is definitely not going to be meaning anything at all. It will still mean at least something, like not anything at all, because it will be a bit of a map control for the top team, for TMs, and some extra fishy spawns that will be actually in their power, whereas they will be basically denying them to their opponents, which means that both Green and Teal will be having kind of harder time dealing, or rather having effective economy. And we are looking at shifting sands, which happened where? I'm not exactly sure, because I don't see different colors somewhere where they shouldn't be. Something in here? No, not really. That was a shockwave. And I'm completely blind, because I really don't see where it went. Did they steal boats or something? No, they were right now transporting some units in here next to the town center. That was the second one, I think. That's one oracle and the Promethean getting dead. First one, I'm not sure, but apparently somebody got headshot. That's a troll. And since I actually cannot see anything all that significant, I'm kinda inclined to say that at least one of the shifting sands was waste. But yeah, not exactly sure, because I really didn't see where they went, which is kinda weird. Didn't see any different colored dots anywhere across the map, which also signals that they probably weren't all that effective as they possibly could have been. But at the same time, it almost seems like that they have at least slowed down the attack from both ReZero and Burzum, but they are still quite nicely setting themselves up. And oh well, you can just go for the villager. Yeah, opportunity was there. Opportunity lost right now for X-Platinum. And this dock is of course going to be working quite alright, because as soon as he places a fishing boat inside, is there someone? Yeah, he actually doesn't have one, so this is kinda useless for him. Definitely should invest into one fishing boat after this. And because there is not much really happening at the top side of the water, yeah, I haven't really seen rather move there all that much, and I'm just keeping the line of sight on the battle at the bottom, because it is so far, yeah, a lot more interesting and basically kinda equalish, even though at this point, as Pedrut is going for a settlement, seems to be going slightly more for the Egyptians. So good job on GDMs in there. So with that message in here, we are... Oh, this is the reason why there's nothing happening and why I didn't have to move here. There's actually absolutely no fight left, or rather no fight going on. Like literally none. Neither Trulog or Pedrut are actually fighting in here, which is definitely curious, as we are looking right now at Burzum having pretty decent army already, slaughtering a few of the animals, and the budget. It's important, budget is also very useful for any kind of raiding, and it's almost looking like that Burzum with ReZero will be interested in putting their opponents out of the water, or maybe it would be a better idea to just go for the town center. Just screw the water, but probably thinking that the rebel from the water and from the land is going to be working into their advantage. Quite potentially will be forcing ancestors, but at the same time it would be useless. Like literally useless, because of course There is nothing to be had against all those heroes. But it was Pedrut. And Pedrut does have something red at the top, so is it going to be an economy? Oh well, that will work. Oh! Oh, oh, oh. Oh, that actually might be a misplay and miscommunication on GDM's part. Because this guy definitely looked like that he wanted to cast Ancestors on the economy of Burzum. And it would have been super effective because he doesn't have any kind of army in here. He has a ton of basically vulnerable economy. Oh, well. I would definitely like to hear what they are talking about right now on TeamSpeak. If they are having something like that, which they probably should because we've not seen any chat. Because this could have been a big opportunity for GDMs that might be really coming wasted. Oh man. Oh man, oh man. That's definitely worth asking the players what their plans were. In the meantime, the water right now is swinging back and forth as apparently Burzum with ReZero and Crimson Scream are doing a pretty great job in the battle in here, pushing forward, but they are of course facing pretty significant problems with all the dog spam from the Egyptians, but with the land support they seem to be slowly but surely moving forward, and unless something unexpected happens, like some unexpected heroic ages, this might really be working in their favor, and they might be even winning the water. They finds this for True Lock, so he's basically just full on booming, not really caring for the water all that much. Just now, in the very end, going for the hammer ships, because they are very fast and kinda inexpensive. They are a bit better for the economy that right now True Lock is having, and since the opponent is in the hero cage, he's probably expecting some... Yeah, okay, it was a misplay by Platinum. Just now exactly proving the point that those Ancestors should have been cast a minute ago, and it was really just a few seconds between those players. That was just a shame for GDMs, as the effect could have been pretty great, but right now I think, even though the town center is probably gonna come down, yeah, it's like that, there's not really going to be much of a doubt about that. They have still half minute left. It is a moment a bit too late. There could be some opportunity for at least the Sphinx to kill some villagers, as this is interesting choice. Burzum using even the citizens to get rid of all those ancestors, but yeah, with the Sphinx in here, I think it's kind of fool's task. But, oh yeah, that's close. Let's go indeed, but the town center is down. He wasn't advancing into the next age, so not really any kind of big harm done. That's what color? 5? Yes, 5 is purple. He's having decent resources, so he's aiming for the heroic age, but yeah, he was already popped. He's not losing units, so it's not like he really minds all that significantly much. He will have to retreat with citizens, or rather with army, or not. He's just going for the front TC right now, stealing from his opponent. And we are also looking at, for example, right now, X Platinum being sorely disappointed, as this is not a spot where he can build so far. Well, in the meantime, this might be a pretty good spot for ceasefire. And because of not only protecting the TC, but also because of stopping the Migdol. I don't think that he has any other Migdol yet. Yes, he doesn't. So that definitely would be worthwhile right now. And, well, please, team communication TM. Team communication, this needs to be coming up. This needs to be coming up. This doesn't need to be coming up, so ceasefire. Just cast it. This is one of the best moments that you're gonna get, quite frankly. Even better than any kind of underworld passage to the back of the opponent's bases. Well, right now they are though losing ground, and of course the big goal is almost up. So the time is running out on this, and it seems like the True Lock will be interested in just playing his own game, which he is already getting ready for. But, interestingly enough, of course, we have seen that he has chosen Dionysus, which means no underworld passage on a map like this. That's really unusual, and that's, even for 1v1, it's a risky strategy, but of course on 1v1 I also kinda prefer Dionysus, because bronze is such a strong god power, and can basically win you battle and even the whole game, if you use it correctly. But yeah, it's going to be a hard time for him, as the Migdol is coming right next to a gold mine, and even though he's protecting his gold as well, and is quite close by to his opponent, he definitely needs to set up himself with more than one villager on the military academy. Becoming so much faster because he doesn't have all that many extra military buildings, just 2 military academies at the back, and a whole lot more villages are needed, and really he needs to set up himself as fast as possible. In the meantime, at the bottom, since they have lost the town center because of the missed opportunity for a ceasefire, the Migdol is up, and army is going to be switching from Platinum's barracks army into a bit more dangerous one from the Migdol. Big rage from Pedrut, as the water has been won, and there is right now from Burzum a lot of idle boats, so definitely needs to be DDT in them. It needs to be a bit more useful in the game. Coming for the home TC, just now finishing with it, and those guards are not really needed anymore, and they'll definitely making a whole lot more difference in the fights in the front if they are used that way. Center just finished in the front for Rizero, who is at 3 TCs, so playing quite alright in the game so far. And let's check our bolt on Farah. No. Yeah. On Son of Osiris. Son of Osiris got bolted in here, as he is kinda halfway dead, and finally Trulok is establishing himself, but still. Yeah, please. At least one more. That it isn't so funny, but it seems like that he's going to be quite fine, because he does have the power spike on his side, even against the Son of Osiris, and he should be quite alright to establish himself and set up everything that needs to be established. But of course, his teammates are not really all that well off, as Platinum is just now sweeping through the right side. 30C going to be coming for a 4th already, and that's of course a pretty big problem, because there is one stolen from his opponent already, from Burzum, who is just at 1. Quite probably going to be at 2nd sometime soon. Yes, coming for it. But this one well spawned. Well spawned Locust. That is of course a problem, because this is probably the last gold that Purple has in power. He has one in the middle, but yeah, with the TC right now being finished for X Platinum, basically this is anything but his. And this is both big bonus for GDMs, as they are owning a whole lot of gold on this map, even though they are already starting with the trade. But much more importantly, Burzum is going to be out of gold altogether. And without gold, yeah, well, good luck laying against the much more efficient units from your opponents. That's a lot of upgrades, so somebody researched, of course, for Olympus, and that somebody was Trulok. Coinage, copper weapons, 45 town center for Pedrut, alright. X electrum bullets, so that's for some extra units. 45 town center for X Platinum, and a bit of a phone, and yep, I think there's not really any kind of doubt that this could be brought on, like for example the boss that we have seen last week from Suits. Yeah, I'm gonna use this opportunity to actually tell everybody, don't do supposed tactical pauses. Like for example, when you are heavily raided, you pause, then tell your ally to shift and sense the villages. Don't do that. That's not how the game was supposed to be played, and you will be penalized for that. That's really akin to something like hunt delete. So yeah, don't even think about doing it. Don't even think about it. We're of course going to be making a post regarding this in the RTS League forums, so that everybody is properly aware. But yeah, it's good to be talking about this for basically the whole community, as yeah, it's not helping anything, it's just making things worse. Okay, so we are looking at an attack by Pain into Pocket into 0, and he's switching into Kato Ballista, which is definitely a good idea. And does he have actually the relic for them? Which we have seen at the very start. Where is this temple? Ah, it's going to be somewhere at the bottom or right. Okay, here, so he doesn't have it. It's not in his possession, as on the left we have seen that finally Helepoly are making an appearance, and they are of course pretty much hard counter to Chariot Archers, and even the Son of Osiris, so yeah, not bad at all. And with second fortress coming up, this is going to be very hard for Pedro to go through, even though he definitely could be coming up with Siege Workshop, which he has on the left, and catapults from that also pretty soon. Okay, so everybody's ready, so we are going to be rejoining into the fight, as there is really pretty good map control going on from Gladiator or SDL Mythology over the middle, which is of course exactly what they need to do, as they are the Egyptians, fully reliant on gold. In the meantime, of course, this is going to be an important part of the game for Burzum, because as we have seen a bit earlier, he's running out of gold. This is his last gold. 500 left, so he's on the timer, and he needs to somehow take down this TC, and much more importantly, take it for himself or for his ally, because he sorely needs this one. As soon as he doesn't get it, then I'm fairly certain he's going to be out of the game, unfortunately for him and TMs overall, and it should be really easier for GDMs to come through from that position. But it might not be really game over yet, because you mustn't forget that Trulok is nicely boom Zeus. He is even winning on score by 900 points. Well, right now 800, which is still a pretty huge amount, considering it's like a quarter of the points of the second best. So he still could be steamrolling over his opponent, but he is also mythic, so it doesn't seem like that Pedrut would be really all that falling behind his opponent. So purple doing what he can, but 45 TC is going to be very hard to take down with his units, of course. Might be tempted to use flaming weapons, I'm thinking. But it's not a good fight for him, looking at the amount of chariot archers in there. As in the middle, the attack has been pushed back on the Rizarol. He has been able to defend quite alright, and he is going to be joining with his ally on the right. And oh well, there is one gold mine hidden for purple. Alright, so there's going to be one gold mine for him, but it's wide open, and yet again, right next to his town center, just basically confirming the statistical, not only statistical, rather strategical and tactical importance of this one town center. If it comes into TM's power, they have a pretty good power swing on their hands. But of course, mercenaries coming up because of the very nice working trade at the back of the bases of GDMs, as we are of course looking also at yellow, who was attempting some kind of funny back build, but unfortunately has been noticed by green, and that means not any kind of luck with that. The big front is right now turning into 2 versus 1, with a bit of tower spam on top of that. And catapults finally joining in, and there was a research on the towers, of course, guard tower, to make it a whole lot stronger. So yeah, this seems to be going alright, and not that well for Trulock, because what is he spamming? Not much, because he is basically housed. Why is he housed? Why is he housed and he has no army? Yellow is what color? 6? Yeah. 160. He's popped on 45 TC, so let's see what's the problem. Oh, yeah, this is the problem. This is the problem. The economy is kinda alright, it seems like. He has everything in there, but he's right now trying to push his opponent off the water, which is some kind of idea. But since he's under double, it's pretty risky. It's pretty risky indeed. And he needs to be a whole lot more careful with how he does things right now. Because of course, he's not really prepared to be facing two opponents since he has barely any army. Or just his one opponent, Pedrut. So he definitely has to hope that he deals with the water as fast as possible. And that should be those heavy pentacounters with all the researches, bronze, everything, and he seems to be doing quite a good job and quite fast, but yeah, will probably need exactly help from Rizero, who has just now abandoned the position on the right, and it's not helping his teammate Burzum anymore. Burzum right now is having pretty significant problems because he's alone against well-established ex-Platinum, who is at 4 TCs. So that's 2 versus 4 TCs, that's one problem. Second problem is of course that he's having much better economy. Even though he doesn't have any kind of upgrades, whereas Burzum is having at least mediums in here, so still could use at least copper shields for better defense against those chariot archers. This is really not a good spot. Gold is going to be quite important in here, and Pain is finally at 19 minutes advancing into Heroic Age, and Rizero is just the next one that should be also coming up, as we definitely would be waiting for it, as exactly as we are talking about it, it is coming into play. In the meantime though, Ex-Platinum is coming into Osiris. Definitely not good news, as Trulock is finishing with the military upgrades, and Pedrut also going for a blow for him, so let's see how this will develop. Pain. Base upgrades. Should be probably following something more because he has just advanced to the next age. Bronze, bronze, bronze for red, for Pedrut. Yellow should be already full upgraded to irons. Yes, he is. Just waiting for the last bronze weapons to turn into iron. And Rizero probably not much upgrades, I would be thinking. Yeah, just at least copper shields, which is not bad, considering that they're facing a lot of spearmen. Rather, not spearmen. Spearmen are just the guys in the black, but rather slingers with priests, and on top of that the chariot archers, and especially the towers, of course, they are a huge problem. And the more numbers of them are going to be coming up, the more impossible it is going to be for Trulock to come through his position. And at this point I'm kind of slightly thinking that it might be better once he finishes with the water. If he finishes, he has been pulled off. Pretty good job right now by Pedrut. He should be maybe switching into either left side, basically to go around on the town center to change the battlefield, or just ride on and go through the middle and help his teammates in there. So of course we are looking at Burzum having significant problems, as is unfortunately expected for him. He doesn't even have trade. Curiously enough, he has a lot of idols at the back, unfortunately. That definitely could be working a whole lot better in the fight in the middle. And he is in the heroic age, right? Yes, he is. So he could be already having trade set up quite alright from this position to the back. Somewhere, like, I don't know, probably this DC. Probably, yeah, this is the furthest, and he doesn't even need the gold if that happens, but that apparently hasn't happened, and that of course means that the push through the right side is getting stronger and stronger, especially with the Imperial Age, Mythical Age rather, already being in for X Platinum. In the meantime, on the left, it almost looked like the True Lock was about to push through. But probably not for much longer, apparently, as all the towers are just kinda impossible for True Lock to go through, even though the Helipoli should be a pretty good unit against all these ranged units that are preparing in here. And of course, towers as a counterplay, but with the potential of the catapults being in here also present. Yeah, well, I can kinda guess that those towers will probably not be standing for much longer. A lot of idlers definitely could be also fighting in here in the middle. Son of Osiris from Red is still very much alive, with having 10th of the hit points, but that's quite alright. As long as you are having at least some number in there, you are not dead, and you are as effective as your full health. Some extra siege right now coming into the fortresses to get rid of the Helipoli. Of course, pretty good idea. As in the middle, finally, X Platinum has been able to push through, which means that not only ReZero has been forced to do the 2 down centers, but they have also lost a gold mine. That's a bit more important. And they are right now, of course, in a pretty big threat, because even though he's switching into Kontarai, this is getting dangerously close to True Lock, who is here again having a bit of an idle army in here. That seems to be, fortunately, a bit of a theme with TMs. And that's actually a lot of population limit, of course, that could have been used somewhere else. And siege works coming up ×2, probably, yes. And definitely just inevitably moving forward, even though there is a bit of a fun attempt by True Lock, who did escape with 2 villages that were pursued by the green player, who didn't really mop up correctly. Those two guys, one hammering into the back of the other one, probably not really help her all that much. There might be some Helipoli coming up, but let's see if it will be soon enough or not. A lot of towers, but already prepared. And it seems like that True Lock is right now losing the grounds in here, as even though he's having pretty nice upgraded units, he's fully upgraded. Heavy cavalry is also quite close by, bronze shields just missing the iron. And with the help of the green player, who is also all bronze, already having heavy slingers and heavy infantry as well, heavy spearmen, this seems to be just a bit too much to handle for True Lock. And since the situation on the right is not really improving at all, just really getting even worse, let's be honest about it, ReZero with Burzum are going to be facing basically 5 DC Platinum very soon, and that will be in much more than anything else. Mercenaries right on top of your base. Let's enjoy that kind of spam for them, as that will most definitely be coming up. Well, Iron Shields, Carrier Pigeons for better line of sight, Champion Spearmen for Platinum. Well, of course, he wants to counter the Kontarai. Or having still just Copper Shields, as he doesn't have the economy for that, probably. Even though they are still on the water quite alright on the right, especially Burzum. I haven't seen really his presence all that much lately. This is probably the only unit that I right now see. He's having still the army at the back. And I don't really see him anywhere, so maybe... Ah, here he is. Here is some kind of army right now going to be joining with his teammate in the middle. Well, good luck, it's going to be tough for you, but maybe you can at least get rid of the catapults and slow the advance of your opponent and help your ally in there. In the meantime, True Lock is of course falling behind, even though he's just now finishing with the fortress. Has he finished with the second one? Yes, he did. Yes, he did, but it has been already discovered who is shooting, and Catapult is already trying to work on it, as of course this Helipolis is gonna be coming down after just, oh, 2 shots actually. Actually 2 shots in there. So we have seen a bit before about 6, 7 or maybe even 8 towers, reduced to just 3 right now, but still pretty decent amount of resources left for True Lock apparently, as he has built another fortress, going for archer ranges, and that's exactly what he's right now why he's in the problems, because he doesn't have any military buildings, like literally none. He's having just a few of those, which is definitely not enough for late game. And does he have at least master building time? Yes, he does, conscript infantry, but he's recognizing that right now with right now the third player arriving to the party as well against him. It's going to be a GG, and GDMs are after, well, after actually a rather nicely played fight, are going to be winning the first map, and we are going to be heading for the second game. So nice job winning the water TMs, but yeah, unfortunately they weren't able to follow fully with the land, and that I definitely would have been curious how the map went if they cast the ceasefire and stolen the TC and prevented the Migdol. That would have so slowed Platinum, so slowed him down, and having the TC in here, that would have definitely allowed them to go basically fully onto him. And if it wouldn't do anything else, it would basically allow Trulog to be 1v1 against Bedroot fully, without any kind of interference from Pain. And that might have been a whole lot more interesting game for them. Well, interesting. Let's check the post game. Trulog, best score and everything. Yeah, what good did it do him, unfortunately? Not much. Not much indeed. But very nice boom for him. Nice boom. Wow, 53,000 gold. 40,000 from gold from trade. And somebody was hoarding. Somebody was hoarding indeed. And 127 civilian units for Turok. That's a problem. That's actually a pretty big problem for him. We could have seen it a bit before. Because once you have population of 160, this leaves 33 for army. And if you are building Helipoli, which are like 5 population limit, and you build about 3 of them, that's 15. That basically reduces you to 18 population limit on normal army, which is 9 units. Literally 9 units that are 2 pop. And Myrmidons are 3 pop? I think so. I think so, that they're actually 3 pop, which is even worse, obviously. So that's the explanation right here. Why he was having such huge problems actually pushing through, even though he should be, with all the economy and all the upgrades that he was having. Unfortunately, he just overdid it a bit there. Which has having huge army in here. Similar to Pedroot, but Pedroot can also support it by the towers, which he did, and of course, some mercenaries if he needs to. Okay, GG.